Hello YouTube, ZiggyNo back with Sports Cards Daily. Today is January 3rd, and on this day in 1920, Red Sox announced the agreement to sell Babe Ruth to the Yankees. This started the 84-year curse of the Bambino. Ooh, that was a poor ghost impression. News and chatter. 100 golf cards on eBay. Article from Sports Collectors Daily. Going to share a video from 10 years ago. A guy at the National who took a $14 investment, turned it into $9,000. Good flashback I thought I'd share. Star Stock Football Challenge update. Last week of the challenge. Actually, I think it's that last day maybe. And the football challenge, I have to say it's a lot more challenging than basketball was. We'll take a look at that. Today in the hobby, weekly sports card update from Neo, Slab Stocks FC, talking soccer. And I will be dropping my ComC updated video tonight. I did move that because I dropped a different video last night, how to manipulate sports cards. Also, I've delayed my live show till probably next week. I really want to get everything together, and I haven't had a chance to properly prepare. So looking at probably Saturday or Sunday next week, midday, and more will come. I'll probably do a live stream during the week to test things out. What did you miss yesterday? How to manipulate sports cards. So I dropped this video yesterday, and I'll be honest, I haven't put up this video today because last night's video is getting so many views, and I think it's important it does. Getting a lot of feedback too. We'll take a look at that. 10K sports card mistake. Great video, and I really appreciate the person sharing this. Great lessons learned. YouTube resolutions and goals. Great video from a collector, and also something to think about yourself. Set your own resolutions for YouTube and your own goals for the hobby. Target card hunting. Yep. Great video of a guy out there chasing target. Project 2020 update in 2021 from CRT Sports Cards. Saturday Night Savagery. Great conversation I listened to while I was in the car last night. A bunch of guys just talking about the hobby and how much the hobby means to them. Sports Cards Live with Josh. Jeremy had Josh on last night. Great, as always. Jeremy does a great job. We'll share a few highlights from that and some insights, too. And then he had, after hours, he had Chris from Card Ladder. And Josh's, buddy. So we'll take a look at both those and share some highlights. So stick around. These highlights at the end are definitely worth paying attention to. Okay, let's dive into the content. So first of all, if you go over to Sports Collectors Daily, they have the 100 most watched golf trading cards on eBay. Now, as I looked at this, I'll be honest, there wasn't a lot of content to share, so this is kind of something I had to pull out. But as I'm looking at this, I'm going, okay, well, I wonder what's on here. It's freaking all Tiger Woods. Why don't they just call this 100 Tiger Woods cards on eBay? Am I wrong? Am I seeing anything here but Tiger Woods? This reminds me of Pokemon. This is why I don't like golf. Pokemon, you either get a Charizard or you lose. In golf, you either get a Tiger or you lose. And I know that's not true, but that's just the way the perception is. Okay, let's take a look. This is a great video here. This is the National back in 2010. Listen, this guy comes in and had bought this box for $14, and he sold it that day to Baseball Card Exchange for $9,000. Yep, that's the box right there. Today, that box is around $120,000 to $150,000. So which was the bigger increase in revenue? The $14,000 to $9,000 or the $9,000 to the $120,000? Well, obviously a bigger difference in value. Percentage maybe it goes on the smaller purchase, but wow. Great video. I'll leave the link below because check it out. I think it's great to look at this nostalgia. And this is another thing I love about YouTube, looking back at historical stuff. Next up, I'm on the Instagram page of StarStock. They did not update the football on the website. They only did a partial update. Here are your last three guys and the ranking they are. I will say this is pretty interesting. I mean, the winner's going to get a $5,000 or $6,000 Patrick Mahomes Silver Prism. I mean, that's a phenomenal win for, making $47 or $50 of profit on a $500 investment. And I'm not going to knock the players. I think football is a lot harder to profit in. And it just hasn't had the momentum. I mean, I thought football would take off in StarStock. It just didn't have that takeoff. I still go back to when you look at football, really the only people know to buy and sell are quarterbacks. I think everything else is just noise. And maybe they'll change, but until then, it is what it is. Next up. Dropped this video yesterday, how to manipulate sports cards. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. What I love about it is look at all the feedback. I mean, that's some love, man. Now, what I will say, if all the negative people, no one left a negative comment. Most of the comments are very supportive, right? Very, hey, thanks for this, eye-opening. You're mentioning stuff. I think thanks for the insight. Very cool. Thanks, Mike. Anyway, I've mentioned this because if you haven't seen it, definitely take a look at it. And I brought this up because I'm tired of seeing bullshit, right? One thing I will tell you in 2021 is I'm going to start calling things more the way they are. And what I mean by that is the big difference I realize about me and other content providers want to profit. I don't care about making money off this channel, okay? I don't. I want subscribers because I want reach. I want influence. I want people to listen to what I have to say. I'm not going to turn on commercials on you. I'm not going to ask you to join my Metreon or Patreon channel or whatever. I'm going to continue to be honest with you. And when I see bullshit, I'm going to call it. And no one has yet to come to me and explain to me why I'm not calling bullshit on this. People don't like it, but they don't like it because it's the truth. Okay? Watch it and listen to it. And I'll share more with you as we go through this. And this isn't just with manipulating sports cards and what Card Ladder does, hyping stuff. I'm going to be talking about other people in the hobby. If they step out of line, let me know. I'd be happy to investigate and find out more. Right? And I'm not going to be an asshole about it. I'm going to be professional. I'm going to be a gentleman. I'm basically going to share with people what their own stuff against them. Right? If you're doing something and say you're doing the other, I'm going to show the hypocrisy in that. Next up, she collects cards. Great video here, guys, where she goes into her sports card investment. And I'll sadly say, she lost a lot of money in soccer cards. But I really appreciate her sharing this, telling the story, why she got them, what got her into the card, how much she made, how much she lost, whatever. I applaud that. Right? And I also think, one thing we know about sports cards, we'll take a loss somewhere else, but we can make it up in a win in another day. So it's kind of a wonderful thing about the sports card community and the world is that you learn a lot. And I think sharing those lessons is an important thing. I'll tell you right now, guys, don't buy non-rookie cards. That's one of the number one lessons you should teach all rookies. Anybody entering, they say, just don't buy non-rookie cards. And when they see somebody buying a non-rookie card, go, what about this? Well, there are exceptions to the rule. But the rule number one in sports cards, only buy rookies. If you stick with rule number one, you can have changes to it. But, man, anyway, great video here from Wade Boggs fan. I'm really liking this guy's channel, and I hope he takes off, man. If you guys haven't get over there, give him a subscribe. Super collector, but just a super chill guy. I love his content, the stories he tells. He gives some great resolutions and goals today. And it's funny, I found his channel through his wife when his wife was on Bench Clear. And again, just really enjoy the content. I will say this too. I'm going to do more of this in 2021 as well. I'm going to start talking more about some of the collectors in the world, super collectors and stuff that they're doing. And I'm definitely going to be bringing more attention to these smaller channels, right? Because these smaller channels are the ones we should be paying attention to instead of some of these bigger, profiting channels. Thank you guys for the support. Collectibles here, I forget his name, SMV, I forget the guy's name, but great video here. He's out target hunting, right? He goes out and he drives, it's like 5 different targets. Doesn't find anything. At the end, he takes you in and does the personal rips and boxes. What I want to point out here, man, I applaud the hustle. I love it because I do it. We all do it. Well, not all of us do it, but some of us, will check a target. I know if I go to Walmart, I'm going to walk by the card section. We all look for those cards. This guy didn't complain. He didn't bitch. He didn't call people names. He didn't blame anybody for anything. He just did it, and he went on with his day. That's what you should be doing, man. That's how life is. Stop the negativity. Oh, Ziggy, what about your negativity? Hey, I'm calling out the truth. There's a difference between truth and negativity. Negativity is what people do that they don't see, and the truth needs to expose the negativity. So I'm exposing negativity. Anyway, let's move on. Another great video here from Chris, CRT Sports Cards. Loved his video, and I'm really going to look forward to the insight here as he talks about some of the prices, some of the, data of Project 2020 after the project's over, right? We should see changes in prices of cards, right? There's no more coming out. This is a limited thing. It's over. How will that affect stuff? Have you finished your set? Who's collecting? Will new collectors come in? Lots of great insight. Definitely, if you haven't already, definitely follow the channel and keep an eye on what Chris is doing over there with Project 2020. Another great video here from Zombie Collector. Another one of those collectors. Great channel. Check him out if you haven't. I really like Zombie Collector. He's got some interesting insights and thoughts. But he did a really good collaboration the other day, had a bunch of guys on his channel, and they sat around just talking about the hobby, talking about each other, talking about cards. I listened to this actually while I was in the car driving, and it was entertaining. It was relaxing. It was chill. And it just, again, reminds me of what the hobby really is. It's about guys, taking care of each other, helping each other out, sharing cards, telling stories. And I want to just quickly say, not trying to profit off of each other, right? Trying to help each other out. Okay, so let's get into some good content here. Last night, one of my favorite shows, Jeremy Sports Card Live, had Josh on. And I'll be honest, I went in this with the intent of not being an asshole. I was just going to ask, legitimate questions, try to contribute to the show, collaborate and chat, which I pretty much did. I will say so. In the beginning, they started by talking about, what have you seen in 2020? Josh, you're a super collector. You've been collecting for so long. What are your thoughts on the hobby? How's the market? So I asked this question. On your business side, Josh, not as a collector, how much of an increase did you see in revenue from your classes how to collect versus 2019 or prior years? Was it 100, 500%? Thank you. My point of asking this question is two things. Number one, I'm seriously asking. You are a businessman. You run a class called How to Collect. You've been doing it for a few years. I would assume that you saw a large increase in students in 2020. Is that true or not? Right? I'm not trying to be an asshole. That's a true question. He didn't answer this, okay? Now, two reasons why he doesn't answer this. Number one, A, he doesn't like me, okay? He's probably, even if his business took off, he's not going to tell me it took off. B, and more likely, it didn't take off, and it's probably failing. But I think it's important to mention that Josh is not a collector, Jeremy. He's a businessman profiting off of the hobby, okay? And he's been doing that for years, charging people to learn how to collect cards. And I think people need to realize that. And again, I'm not being mean to Josh. Josh, I'm telling you what it is, right? You run a business called How to Collect. You teach people how to collect cards. What I think is shady about that, when you go to How to Collect Cards, and you can see the class that he has, and I'll just show you real quickly too. Here's an email he just sent on December 31st. So he says in the video, oh, I've been spending my time on Card Ladder. I haven't been doing How to Collect Cards. Well, if you have, why is your business partner continuing to spam people and get them to, hey, hurry up, sign up now, last chance for two newsletters? You can't tell me that there's no one signing up and you're not profiting off of new people in the hobby. Here's my favorite thing. And again, I'm just sharing this, you guys. This is a concern I have. Look at who his reference is. How to Collect Cards testimonial. I mean, just think about this. Back in the West, one guy would go into the town. He would tell everybody about a cold coming. The other guy would come in and sell the snake oil. And the first guy would take the snake oil and say, my cold is gone. I'm just showing you facts, guys, facts. I'll go back to this video. Again, he didn't answer the question. He definitely felt very uncomfortable about the question. And I'll even say as I went through this, I think Jeremy didn't listen or read through my questions. I asked about the quotas because other people in chat were saying that PSA uses quota systems. I was asking you and Josh if you think that is true. And more importantly, if it is true, I think as both of you have said as fans of Nat Turner, wouldn't Nat Turner end or disprove this whole quota system, right? As a collector, you wouldn't put quotas and say there's only 1,000 tens that can be given out, right? So that was one of the very important things that I wish had been addressed or talked about, but again, it wasn't. And I understand, and I'm not blaming Jeremy. I know Jeremy's very close friends with Josh and Chris, and I've put him in an awkward position, and I apologize about that, Jeremy. I do think you've put yourself in that position by not looking into the people that you're backing, though. Okay, let's move on. Last video of the night I'm going to talk about real quickly here is After Hours, Chris from Card Ladder was on. Again, I asked some questions, very pertinent, very real questions. One I asked about was, can you talk a little about the vetting process? Can you explain to us, are you vetting auctions? I actually didn't think they would vet auctions, but he says, yes, they actually vet auctions, which I think is great. That's great. He vets auctions. So I asked, are you going to be vetting social media sales? Which his answer was, that's absurd. And he said it in kind of a condescending way, which is fine, dude. My point to that is, look, you're spending so much time sitting here curating data from eBay. Yet the eBay data, eBay sales data is probably a portion. It is a portion. Is it a majority, minority, whatever it is? It's not all of it of sales data. The world is going around selling and buying stuff, and no one is sitting there going, oh, did we scrutinize this deal? I mean, what you're doing is you're doing the same thing the president did with mail-in ballots. You want people to think mail-in ballots are bad, so you're creating this fear and uncertainty about don't trust sales data. It should only come from me. I'm the only one who has trusted sales data. You're creating fraud. Okay, dude, we've been using eBay for years. It's work. It continues to work. It's going to work way after you're gone. I just don't get it. I don't understand this whole data has to be pure. Again, watch my video. Lastly, listen to this, and I'm going to stop this video. And again, I apologize for my regular viewers. We're going to get back to more positive content as we move through the year. But listen to this. I'm going to say threat.
If you're spending money in this hobby, you can probably afford to buy a homeless person a meal and do something good. I love that. Thank you, Native Card Guy, for reminding us all to be good and kind to each other, not just in the hobby, but outside of it as well.
That's a great lesson. That's a great lesson because it's, you and I are interacting digitally. You probably interact with hundreds, thousands of people digitally. And when people interact digitally, sometimes they forget that, when the world hopefully does open up again, everyone will have to see each other at national, at shows, at shops. And congeniality, professionalism, humility, those are characteristics that will serve you very well. Because God forbid somebody is a person who is picking on people, bullying and intimidating, and then they show up at the national and 30 or 40 of those people that they've been attacking are also there. I sure wouldn't want to be that person.
So, Chris, that's a great comment. I'll be at National. Look forward to seeing you. And I guess you'll bring your goons with you, the goons that you use to attack people and bully them. I can mention a few of them by name, but you know who they are. The people you use to make memes or write videos and attack other people in the hobby. Let's also talk about the fact, your ethics of going on Sports Card Investor a few weeks before you launch a competing channel, about you editing and not allowing anybody to put anything with market movers on your content feed, but you wanted to put your content in Market Movers. You want to put a card ladder video in the Market Movers Facebook group. Okay, Chris, you're a shady individual, and if that's a threat, look, I'm definitely going to be at Nationals, and I will look to come say hi to you and shake your hand. I have nothing to hide. I'm not bullying you. I am being honest and truthful. And again, I will say to anybody out there, I am happy to have a public debate and conversation with Chris and or Josh or anybody from Card Ladder and talk about what's going on. I'll leave it at that. Thank you. Have a great day. Stay safe and healthy.